It's Talk Point again on Lagos Television, and we're very, very happy that you can also link up with us this moment. My name is Omololu Rosonwo. The role of women in national development cannot be overemphasized. And of course, we know that women have specific roles to play in the society, and that actually starts from the family. Then it also dovetails into the society, because if the family is not okay, the society cannot be better. But they have these multitasking roles that God has endowed in them to bring up things. So that's what we'll be looking at today, and I have a guest that will be doing that justice with me. She is Mary George Peluola. She's the Deputy Director of the Women Advocacy Research and Documentation Center with the acronym WADC. She's of the Lagos office. Mary, nice to have you on Talk Point.
Good afternoon, viewers at home. Good afternoon, sir. I'm happy to be here.
Yes, I know you want to talk on women issues, and that's what we're treating now. Now, let me start off by saying the role of women in the family. Yeah, you know, women have multitasking roles which God has endowed in them. Now, what are some of these roles expected of the women in the family?
Okay, thank you very much. If you look at it, women as mothers, as sisters, as daughters in the home, they play a very crucial role within the family. I mean, starting from, like, if you say, what is your wake-up time in the morning? As far as that wake-up time, I mean, all women, mostly women are already on their toes, putting one thing or the other, one thing or the other in places. And so, of course, looking at the kind of, let me say, naturally, the caregiving responsibility that has been deposited on the shoulder of women, I mean, also place you in that corner for you to take care of your family, lead them to school, take care of the husband. I mean, you look at it religiously and everything, you know that women, you know, as a physical person, you have a lot of shoulder to carry. You have a lot on your shoulder, I mean, to carry as a woman. And of course, flowing from that, looking at your routine for a woman, there was the time we're trying to analyze the role of women in the family. And we realized that, you know, women, even, let's say 5 a.m. a woman is waking up, compared to 5 a.m. when a man is waking up. You see that, you know, women has a lot, you know, a lot of roles even to play. And look at it just from that 5 a.m. up to 12, you know, a.m. You see that, you know, a woman has, you know, more roles even to play just within, I mean, within the family. You take care of your family, the care responsibility, even if you have like a grandparent in the house. I mean, society has beckoned it, you know, on your shoulder to say, this is, I mean, this is your role. And this caregiving responsibility, I've taken, if not all, I mean, part of the role that women play in the family. So it's a big role, and it's very crucial, even from family to the society.
Okay, yes, I want to agree with you that you have multitasking roles, because I also said it earlier. I also want to agree with you that women are doing human's job, or should I put it, you women's job? Should I say you women's job? Your men's job in ensuring that the family stays right. Now, moving from the family, let's go to the society, because if the family is not strong, it cannot have a good society. Now, what are the roles that you think women can play when it comes to societal development? Because they either will like it or not, the female gender also have roles to play in societal development.
And thank you very much for that question. I would like to look at it from, I mean, a broader perspective, looking at the role women are playing in the society. Like I said, we have the role, you know, naturally that has been deposited, you know, on your shoulder, and you also have a kind, a role, whether, for example, you are looking at a kind of a professional woman, a woman in this regard. And for me, I would say women, we have a lot of role in terms of promoting gender equality, promoting representation, and at the same time you are acting as caregiver, whether in the family or your extended family.
Okay, they play roles in also giving care to people in the society. Yes, yes, I would not agree less. But that brings me to one issue, and that has to do with the Beijing Women Conference. Remember that there was a conference sometime in 1994, tagged the Beijing Women Conference in China. And right from that moment, there was an awareness created for more women to participate in governance. Now, from that conference, would you say the role of women has increased, or what has it been? What's the take from that conference?
Well, if I were to answer that question, critically, if you look at it, I would say it has increased. I mean, compared to where we're coming from. And of course, like in Nigeria and all over the world, this year marked a lot of benchmarks. We're looking at Maputo Protocol, Beijing Conference, as you have said, Beijing Plus 30 this year. And so you agree with me, a lot of organizations are already looking now to, taking our progress reports, looking at what we have done so far. And I must tell us that in this analysis, we have seen that, I mean, we're not just, in a place. And I think for us as an advocate, we have moved from where we used to be. Because now we talk, even in terms of representation, we talk about quotas, we talk about women participation, where we need to increase a number of women in politics, in governance, in economy. I mean, the role that women play are more and more. You cannot underemphasize the role that women play. And since that Beijing conference in 1995, 1994, Maputo Protocol, a lot of treaties have been put into places to make sure that we bring more women into board, to appreciate them, and also to promote women issues and development, especially in Nigeria.
Okay, would you say that the Beijing conference has been a standing point or a starting point which actually pinches the society to say, look, we have critical roles that women must also play with the male folks in the society? And if that has been the case, then can we say that the national gender policy of Nigeria emanates or has emanated from series of things like this in the past? Because the national gender policy says you must give at least 35% to women in various areas. Can you explain that?
Okay, so of course, like I said, a lot of progress. One of the progress is what you have just mentioned. That is when you talk about the Nigeria gender policy. And of course, if you look at Nigerian policy, it has given a lot of promotions in terms of gender equality. I mean, giving roles that women should do or should play in terms of participation. I mean, voter bias, and a lot of issues are involved, looking at women in economy, looking at women in health, in education. And so, I mean, for us, for women, as us as an advocate, what we are always clamoring is just for government to just make sure the implementations are key. Because one thing is for you to have a document on the ground, on the surface of it. Another one is for you to be able to impact, to also attach, be able to do, what you have put in those documents. So it goes beyond just having us. What are the levels of implementation in terms of assessing some of these issues that has been raised, some of in terms of assessing various platforms and opportunities that are banned in those documents. And so, as an advocate, promoting representation, gender equality, political decision making is very key when we talk of women development. Because one, we believe looking at women numeric strength. Like, for example, in Nigeria, the statistics has told us that we have about 50%, of women in the country. And then you wonder, what has really happened? How has this 50% numeric strength has gone? How far has it gone? How has it transpired? Because you know that in reality, women have been relegated to background. And when women are talking, some people will feel like, no, women should keep quiet just because, I mean, you are a woman. They feel that women are like it's kind of second fiddle, I mean, to the male counterpart, which we feel is not supposed to be. There should be a kind of a role that you are playing your part, I am playing my part, and so we rub hands together, then we lift our nation up. Thank you.
Okay. I've known WOTC for 20 years. At least 20 years, because I know that the director of WOTC, Dr. Akiode, has been in the vanguard for promoting some of these issues that has to do with women representation and thereabout. That's why WOTC has come up. That with acronym WOTC, but Women Advocacy, Research and Documentation. You know, yes, center. Yeah. Now, okay, in these years and currently, or in the last 5 years, or 6 years, or 10 years thereabout, what are the things that you have found out? What are the things that your organization has done in terms of research that you have identified that you want the public to know, that you want the governments at all levels to look at?
Okay, so for us as women advocates, over the years, I remember vividly 1999 was a great landmark when we talk about the history of women democracy in Nigeria. And so since that period of time, WOTC has been at the forefront of championing training and mentoring women in politics, training women to become experienced and not also to become building like a technical support for them to be a candidate, I mean, to stand as a candidate in an election. And over the years also, we have also been clamoring and advocating for change, you know, that is essential to administer or to engage underrepresentation of women in leadership. And so for us, it is a long walk, if you ask me, and we have been on that toes. I mean, of recent, there was the issue of looking at increasing the numbers of seats, you know, at the parliament. That is 111, and we also have the 5 gender bills currently on the seat of the parliament, which we're still working on. So looking at some of the...
Sorry, let me just interject a little. When you say at the parliament, are you referring to the National Assembly?
National Assembly.
State assemblies, or are you just referring to the National Assembly?
Okay, for 111 is the National Assembly. But even at the State Assembly, what we have also done is to train and mentor women in politics to aspire to vie for a post, and also to contest to stand in as a candidate, because we all know there are a lot of challenges when it comes to this arena. Women are underrepresented. They don't even have that financial constraint to face election when it comes.
Financial strength, not constraint. They have constraints, but financial
strength. Financial strength to face election during political dispensations.
Okay, since you have talked on that, I think we should just move to that. At the National Assembly, we have about, currently, at the 10th Assembly, we have about 4 senators.
Yes.
At the 9th Assembly, we had 9 senators or so. 7 or 9 senators, including the current First Lady of Nigeria. She was at that Senate then. But now we only have 4 senators. That's a reduction instead of increment. Now, looking at the National Assembly, at the lower chambers, at the House of Representatives, we only have about 16 women House of Reps members, and reducing from about 20-something. Don't you think this is an issue that organizations like you people should look into? If rather than increasing, it is dropping, what are you doing in that light?
Yeah. I really need to say at this point, it is very disheartening because looking at our own even analysis, we observed that from 2003, that was the last time, we could say that women has really thrived in election. And of course, looking down from 2011, 2015, 2019, I mean, it was really, really disheartening because it was realized that even at first we have like about 10% of women in decision making, but from that to 2003, it has dwindled, and each year was becoming, we were experiencing reduction,
it was nosediving,
over reduction, and it was just dropping. And of course, even if you look at it, even at the level, at the state level, you see that the same thing is also happening, even down to the local government level. And so for me, it is very disheartening. And of course, if you look at it also, we have various factors, that are also very, very, coming front, facing women in terms of women in politics. And if you look at it, there are a lot of violence around the elections. Women are being threatened, to contest, whether to vie for election or whenever you are standing as a candidate. We have a lot of women. And even when they were able to even scrape through at the end of the day, probably from our own statistic, the last election we have about 36 women that we train, but at the end of the day, maybe out of them, maybe one or two, one election. And also you realize that even despite that women were being underrepresented in an election, they are also faced with, even while you are in the house, you are also faced with a lot of discriminations. For example, of recent, the nation experienced the situation of Senator Natasha. And if you look at it, despite all, happened, because I know that in the first place she was contesting as candidate, standing candidate as a governorship in Kogi State, and later she went to Senate. And of course, even at that Senate, from our experience that she shared, she has always, facing one sexual harassment, discrimination, in one form or the other. And even at the end hall, when she summoned courage to even say to the whole world that this was sort of, what did we see? The rest of is history. And up till now, we have not even heard, committee setting up to say, how did this happen? What actually happened? And she was currently facing 6 months suspension for raising.
She's actually on suspension.
But so even for raising that issue. So we have a lot of the issue of godfatherism, the issue of gender bias, voter bias. There are a lot of factors that are impeding women's to thrive.
Okay, factors impeding women's participation in politics. They're quite enormous, or they're there. But the women too have their roles to play to ensure that they turn around these things for their own benefits. Now, if a woman is contesting, I've always said it, and I will also still mention it here. If a woman is contesting a position, the fellow woman is also expected to support her or support, that cause. But you find women queuing behind men and not supporting the women folk. Are you going to blame the male folks for that again?
All right. If I were to answer that question, I will also say I want to just encourage us to look critically at this issue. So we have raised that, okay, for example, women don't support women, which I want to debunk that this notion is not outrightly, it's not correct. And if you look at it critically, for example, there was a woman in a particular party, only her contesting election. But you will agree with me, because of it kind of factors, that we have. For example, we have the stereotype, we have patriarchy, whereby women are seen as a second fiddle. And so they don't even think that, you have brain already. And so this is a situation because we have tried to research this kind of notion, and we have seen that it's not totally correct, saying that women don't support women. Because, when a woman is coming out, the male folk we gathered around all other women to go and say, no, this woman, don't support her also. And because one, they have more mouths in that circle, they are the one reigning in terms of money. They have the money. They have gone to one election or the other. But this woman, she has sold, some of her things to even buy the tickets. And so if you look at such woman, you don't even have enough money to match your male counterparts.
Yeah.
And so women folks are moved. They are rallying and to say, okay, don't support your other women. So because if you look at it critically, men also, they don't support themselves. They used to fight. Yes. Men will even go after one another and kill one another. We have seen in the history of election in this country.
Let me just mention this so that I won't forget, so that you also can talk to it. Now, the opportunity is there now. Political parties, other people are saying, look, we'll give our female folks free form. Yeah. People with disabilities, free form. Now, so they don't have to struggle to get forms to contest. So what are you guys doing in that area? Because you have free forms now. Are you mobilizing for more women to come out and participate in governance as we round up?
All right, thank you, sir. Well, I would say that this kind of a notion of having free form or parties saying that they want to give women free form, this is not the first time we are hearing it in the history of political participation in Nigeria. It has happened sometimes ago, I think in 2007, where they gave women free form. And what we experienced at that point in time was, okay, for example, now for the post of House of Assembly, somebody has been given free form as a woman. And the other counterpart, the male counterpart, bought the form at amounts, totally amount to like 2 million naira. So they will go at the back to go and be threatening that woman. Look, woman, I paid so amount for this money, for this form, for this post, and you got your own form for free. So, and at that particular year, and I want to say emphatically that it really worked against women at that point in time.
Okay, so are you advocating that they should not give them free forms again? So is that what you're saying?
Even if we give them, what we are advocating now is like a kind of multifaceted approach. So it's not only enough when we said, when we are saying we are giving free form. What is the political arena about? If the political arena is still full of violence, is full of whereby women are not recognized, whereby women folks are not even allowed to voice, their opinion, then for me, we're still in the right circle. Okay. Now, so we need to improve that our situation. It's kind of holistic approach.
Okay, I want to just give you maybe another 1 minute to say this. Okay. Are you participating in politics? If you are participating in politics, are you still participating in the coming polls that will be coming up, the grassroots polls that will be coming up on July 12, Saturday, July 12 in Lagos State? Because that's another factor. If women are not at the grassroots, how can they grow? Are you pushing so that more women can come there?
Exactly. Of course, we've always been pushing and we will continue to push because that is our commitment to the society, is to bring our women together, to bring the voice of women to participate in governance. Governance is what everybody needs to be, and that is where we are, and that is why we will continue to support our women to raise voice. But on the other note, now we will still raise our voice to challenge the status quo, to say, please allow women to participate. Let the poor breathe, they say. So allow women to participate.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. I've been speaking with Mary George Kweluola. She's the Deputy Director, Women Advocacy Research and Documentation Center with the acronym WADC, and she's of the Lagos office. Thank you so much, Mary, for being part of Talk Point. Yes, we have come to the end of Talk Point today. Remember, 767 and 112 are still the lines to always call in times of emergency. Stay out of trouble. Ensure you do what is right so that Nigeria and indeed Lagos State can get better. And also remember, Lagos local government elections is coming up on Saturday, July 12th. Ensure that you participate so that you can vote for those that you desire to come to power. I, Momololu Rosawu, signing out.
The views expressed on this program do not represent that of the producer, management of Lagos Television, or the Lagos State Government. They remain the perspectives of those expressing them. Thank you for staying with Lagos Television.